Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I get to meet some amazing people. So a friend of mine was also a client. I probably already shared a story here and you probably heard a story. Connected me with someone else who had a story that I needed to hear. And I talk and I get connected to this gentleman. We set up a time to talk. Just the person just had a story. And so when I was introduced to this person, I was just told that this person has a story that you need to hear. And I'm like, okay. So I set up a time to be talk with the person and realized that even before I set up a time to talk with the person joined a writers group, and the person posts this poem, just like amazing, like just true story again, lived experience that literally will give you chills. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, what else does he got, right? So I set up with I talked with this person after we set up the time, to all that. I talked with this person, and this was like, I have all these poems and stuff, and short stories, and they're just actually in a lot of them, most of them are in notebooks that they're handwritten. And the person's like, I don't know what, they're just there. And the person didn't realize that our mutual friend who connected us knew what happens when you tell Shu that you have stuff sitting in the notebook, right? It's like, I even have clients, even some of my coaching clients say, be careful what you tell Shu. When she hears it, she will make a goal. She'll help you set a goal, set a deadline, and then get you into action. And sure enough, when he said, I'm like, you have what? You have notebooks full of poetry, and short stories? I'm like, how can we get that in digital form? Like, can we need to get this, on a Google Doc and in the, on a Google folder and share with me, and let's get working. And so, because that was his first, time talking with me. He didn't know, like, he didn't realize all that was going through my mind again, and all that I was planning, thinking. And he's like, so what is the goal? Like, the person had no idea. And now I love that curiosity, and I love that, just that he was so open. Like, his heart and his mind was so open to the possibilities, and he was willing to kind of let me, encourage him on that journey and to figure out what done next. So I said, well, this is what I'm thinking, and if you're open to it, this is what we could do together. And I said, if you put those poems and short story in a digital form in a Google Doc, I have a whole team that can get it edited. We can get it organized and make a whole book out of it, and make you an Amazon bestseller. And he was like, oh my goodness, I never thought about this. I never thought about that. That would have never happened to me. And here, if you even hears his story, you're just like, wow, his story needs to be told. And that's what motivated me, I guess, if you want to even share that, I encourage him to share his story. Because for him, it's just like, well, I can share in the group, people can see it. I'm like, yeah, you can share in the writers group, but this story needs to go farther than just a writers group. This is a man, middle-aged man, who is, been struggling with addiction for so many years, who been in a lot of drug and alcohol services, programs. And here he's embracing recovery. He made a, full 360. He's here serving others, encouraging others. So I'm like, this story needs to be told. This is one of the best, self reinvention that I ever seen and heard. We cannot keep this to ourselves. No, 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 no. We cannot. We cannot. So, and he was just like this, and you could just, oh my goodness, in his voice, he's like, this is one of the best days of my life. Like, he could have never thought. And I'm sure, like, when we go through a lot in our lives, we cannot see ourselves past our past, if that makes sense. And then we need people who walk with us on that journey, who enter our journey, if you want, and see in us more than what we were, and encourage us to be more than we thought we could ever be. And I am just humbled that God put people on my path that I can connect to at that level, and that God put those gifts in me to help others unleash those callings. And this gentleman, so here we embark. And now we, as I'm doing this video, we're in August, and we'll be talking about this book coming out in December. This person will be sending he's going to be working on putting it all into, a Google Doc, and that way we have it in digital form, and my team will just run with it. And he was like, well, I don't know what to do next. Like, I'm like, you just write, you give us the manuscript, your team will do the rest. And we do it all with his guidance. And I reassure him, like, um we will be doing it all with your guidance. Like, my clients stay in control of the entire process. Even after we edit in suggestion mode so they can approve or reject the suggestions. And then even after that, we ask them what they want on the book cover. Like, so even the covers that we create for authors, they decide what they want on there. Sometimes it's a picture, sometimes it's colors, sometimes it's different, fonts. Like, they get to choose, and we create a few of those and give them, based on their input, and let them decide which one they want on there. And sometimes they might decide something. I'm like, oh, I like this one better. Like, no, maybe they like, cover B better because it's the book. We go with cover B, right? And through the entire process, we're consulting them. We are, we want that, it's their baby. Like, I count my books as my babies, and I want to be in charge of my books. So I know how much it means, how important it is to let people be in control of the books as well. So even although it was in the beginning, he didn't even see his writing become a book. He didn't even see that. But again, he let someone else in so that he could do more with what he already got. So I don't know what you already have in your head, whether it's things that you're writing, things that you're thinking about, things that you're working on. Who do you need to let in into your life on your journey in order to help you to move farther, or far farther than you can ever think? And I think it's TJ Jakes that said this, and I heard him preach this a couple years ago. It was one of his New Year's um, service. He said you already took yourself as far as you could on your own. Now it's time to let people join you. And that for me was one of the things. I believe this was back in 2019, and that unlocked my luck, a lot of things in me. I had to let people in, and I embraced that message. And because of that message, I now have a team that helps me do all the things that we do at Grayson Consulting. So who do you need to let in? Do you have things that you're never sure that somebody will read this? And sometimes I get that, like, I don't know if people will buy my book. I don't know if people will read this. I'm like, your story is so powerful. You have to let people in. You let a third party who has expertise, who has experience, who has knowledge, and who can actually help you see that your book it has a powerful story that will help someone else, and help you work through maybe some of the self-doubt, work through the procrastination, work through the lack of motivation, whatever it is that's getting in the way of you getting that book out. I had to learn to let people in to help me do the things that I do. Who do you need to let in today?